Well, let's talk about Bitcoin because, it's always fun to speculate on altcoins and, Bitcoin, it just seems like a sure thing at this point to me. And I think a lot of people, so, sometimes, because we talked about it so much, we don't talk about it every time. But what do you think, man? I mean, it seems to me like this is the first cycle where people realize that Bitcoin isn't going away. How high do you think Bitcoin could go this cycle? And what are your thoughts in general?
So I think that Bitcoin's fantastic, and it's being really validated by, I mean, you can't really overstate how important the Tesla move was. I think that that is a 0 to 1 moment. Tesla, Elon, what that represents in the scheme of modern business, financial innovation, that is a huge, huge move. Now, I don't think we go backwards from there. I think we go forwards. And so I would be incredibly shocked to see a Bitcoin under that $33,000 range ever again. I also think that you got to give a lot of credit to Michael Saylor in being a thought leader on this as well. Kind of funny how it all lines up with the 4-year cycle. But that said, it's just one of those things where Bitcoin is too big to fail. It is being gradually added as a reserve asset to a lot of balance sheets. And as the infrastructure evolves and hopefully we get a Bitcoin ETF, it is zero doubt in my mind that it will come to replace the gold hedge in a lot of people's portfolios. And of course, with its increased functionality, it's zero doubt in my mind that it will eventually come to be bigger than gold. And so to me, it's a matter of time. These things aren't going to happen overnight, but the next chapter is really the big money bags getting involved and people kind of treating it like a long-term savings account, which is already happening in certain degrees, but that trend will just continue. And again, this is just super bullish because it creates a liquidity floor in crypto where all that Bitcoin is now being wrapped and deployed in other ecosystems. And it just creates more capital to be deployed in the ecosystem. The bigger Bitcoin is, the better it is for every coin on the block.
And how do you see, you mentioned ETFs. I mean, I personally think they're going to happen in the US by the end of this year. We're seeing every other major country, get involved, Canada, Brazil. But for Bitcoin and crypto in general, how do you see the end of this year playing out? Just kind of, BSing, talking, is it going to be the exact same as 2017? What do you think? Is there going to be a bear market?
Until proven otherwise, I'm operating as if there will be. If I'm proven otherwise, then, happy days, right? There's nothing to complain about. There's a non-zero chance, probably around a 10 to 20% chance that this cycle, based on stimulus and money printing and all these things, just continues to grow. And Bitcoin just kind of works its way up over time, over and over and over again, because the amount of people who get in just keeps growing and the demand keeps growing. And the amount of people losing faith in traditional monetary value keeps growing, which is really the first cycle we've had where there's a real question as to like, hey, what is the US dollar really worth? That wasn't really in discussions. That was just a purely, yeah, okay. You're like, yeah, okay, maybe. And then, but for the most part, those people who believe that were on the extremes. Whereas now I feel like the amount of people who have a question about money printing and inflation are more, center middle. And I think that you don't have to be that extreme to say, hey, this is a lot of money printing. And I think that what you'll see here is that there's a 10 to 20% chance that we have no more bear market, or at least for the next 5 so years, we don't have a bear market. But I'm operating on a belief that some point in 2021, Bitcoin will go extremely parabolic, and then the altcoins it'll sort of do what it did in 2017, go parabolic, have a big collapse where people realize, hey, party's over, altcoins go absolutely insane, and then the pain begins. But to be fair, and I'll caveat, DeFi changes the bear market significantly because people now have the ability to earn yield and put their assets to work. So now holding stable coins and locking them in protocols to earn yield is something that wasn't around in the last bear market. You just weren't seeing that kind of yield and reliable yield. So that liquidity that's in crypto, I believe, is not going to leave crypto like it did last time, just saying, hey, party's over, I'm going back to fiat. And I'll see what happens next time. It's going to say, hey, party's over, I'm going into stable coins, and I'm going into Anchor Protocol or Yearn Finance or a couple of the other really generous yield farming protocols, or even a new one, which creates, of course, still a ton of growth and dynamic changes within the ecosystem, which can have a lot of opportunity attached. So if you're paying attention to DeFi, and of course, what I believe is NFTs with consumer use cases, there's still going to be a ton of momentum versus last bull run. So that's how I see it, is Bitcoin will continue to go on its cyclical, valuation jumps, governed pretty much by the halving. And then you'll see the altcoins have interesting reactions in response to that. But I do believe bear markets are forever changed.
Yes, great perspective. To watch the full conversation, there's a link down below in the video description. And if you're interested in learning more about cryptocurrency, click subscribe. You do not want to miss a daily video. See you tomorrow.